afternoon, and welcome to the June 8th, 2021 meeting of the joint Glendale City Council and Glendale Housing Authority meeting, being called to order at 1:05. We're early today. I hope you're all with us. Due to the evolving situation with the COVID-19 novel coronavirus and health recommendations from the LA County Health Department, the Glendale City Council and Glendale Housing Authority joint meeting will be available to the public electronically. Due to social distancing requirements, the public will not be able to attend the meeting. However, you are encouraged to watch and participate from the safety of your homes to practice social distancing. This meeting can be viewed on Charter Cable Channel 6 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99, and also streaming online at glendaleca.gov/government public meeting portal. If you have questions or comments during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting these questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person during the Glendale City Council and Glendale Housing Authority joint meeting. So with that, may we have roll call, please, for City Council?
Councilmember Agajanian. Present. Brotman.
Here.
Kasakian. Najarian.
Here.
And Mayor Devine.
Here. And your report, please. Oh, for housing.
For housing.
Roll call for the Housing Authority.
Authority Member Agajanian. Agajanian.
Present.
Authority Member Agajanian. Your microphone is off. Authority Member.
I think he can hear you.
Your microphone is off.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Here.
Here, Robert.
Brotman.
Here.
Devine.
Here.
Najarian. Here. Parazian.
Here.
And Chair Kasakian. Next would be the agenda for the Tuesday, June 8th, 2021 joint public meeting of the City Council and Housing Authority. Was posted on June 1st, 2021 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. And next.
Next would be City Clerk regarding minutes of the joint City Council and Housing Authority meeting of May 11th, 2021 and May 18th, 2021.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move the item.
Second.
Second, and without any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. And for Housing Authority?
We have to do a separate motion for Housing Authority for the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there
Yes.
housing
Yes.
authority minutes? Yes.
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 Okay.
Okay, do I hear a motion to
I
approve the
move.
minutes for Housing Authority? Okay, in a
Yeah.
second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and hearing no objections, the minutes stand approved.
Thank you. Before we move on to the next item, I would like to inform the public that the item number 3, the second item, the community development, the consideration of the establishment of a landlord-tenant advisory board is going to be postponed until next week, June 15th. It was brought to the council by Councilmember Kasakian, and because he is unable to be here, we feel in deference to him that we will postpone it until he is available to join in the conversation on this item. So what's the next item, please?
Next item would be item number 3, community development regarding adoption of the fiscal year 2021-2022 Glendale Housing Authority budget with approval of 2 professional service contract change orders in support of budget for fiscal year, change order for affordable housing legal services in Section 8 software, maintenance and licensing. A resolution of the City Council making findings and approving expenditures of low moderate income housing asset funds for administration and planning expenditures outside redevelopment project areas for fiscal year 2021 and 2022 Housing Authority budget. And B, resolution of the Housing Authority making findings and approving expenditures of low moderate income housing assets funds for administration and planning expenditures outside redevelopment project area for the fiscal year 21-22 Housing Authority budget and adopting fiscal year 21-22 Housing Authority budget. And C, motion of Housing Authority to approve an amendment to the professional service agreement with Kane, Balmer, and Berkman to increase the contract amount by $240,000 for a new not-to-exceed contract of $560,000 for affordable housing, legal services, and to extend the agreement term for 2 years to June 30th, 2023. And D, motion of the Housing Authority to approve an amendment to the professional service agreement with Emphasis Software to increase contract amount by $85,000 for a new not-to-exceed contract of $409,007 for a computer software license with maintenance and hosting of the Housing Authority owner portal, and to extend the agreement term for 1 year to end August 31st, 2022.
That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Okay, Mr. Galanian.
Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, members of City Council, Vice Chair Brotman, members of the Housing Authority. I'm just going directly to Phil Lanzafame, Director of Community Development, for a presentation that includes a brief PowerPoint slide deck as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, if you could put up the budget presentation for me. Thank you. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, Mr. Chairman, members of the Housing Authority. You'll see some things that you've already seen before, and that you'll see again later on tonight. But this is the housing budget, and as the Housing Authority, you adopt your own budget every year. Much of these funds, though, we presented during our department presentation and the citywide budget. And again, some of these will be included in your citywide budget this evening. Just to recap from our department presentation, but dig a little bit deeper, the Housing Division has 5 basic sections. Section 8, they do oversee our Housing Choice Voucher Program, the Section 8 program. Housing Development and Preservation, this is building our own projects. Monitoring, we have a group that actually monitors all the projects that, number one, you build, and those that are built for the Housing Authority in density bonus projects. We also monitor first-time home buyer and single-family residential rehab loans. We haven't done those for several years, but they still have covenants on them that we monitor and make sure that those covenants are being adhered to. Our systems analyst, much of this is reporting back to the federal government, and so we have our own IT person, if you will, that works with ISD in conjunction with ISD, but really is an expert in the Section 8 reporting. They oversee all of our MHSP. They do the lotteries for us and whatnot. And then the tenant landlord services. This is really the rental rights program, the monthly housing subsidy program. We'll talk about a little bit more about those later. This is just a snapshot of what you've accomplished in the last year. Again, it's familiar from our last presentation, but 2,650 vouchers that we support, both those that are Glendale-based and those that are portable, representing over 1,100 landlords who are receiving those payments, and they have received those all throughout the last year. Care packages, and as you're all well aware, 500+ units that are in development now. We have several funds that we use for our activities. Section 8 fund is the biggest of those. The home grant is a federal grant that we receive dollars every year. So is the Continuum of Care Fund. Those federal dollars are administered for homeless and homeless services and housing homeless through our Continuum of Care and Community Services and Parks. Our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, this was a fund that we created when we had revenue that just didn't fit into any one of our other funds, but now it's really the home for inclusionary housing and the density bonus fees that we receive with those projects. Begin is a state program that we use for Doran Gardens. It really is exclusive to that project, but we do carry those because we have an interest in all of those units. The low moderate income housing fund, this is the old redevelopment 20% set aside that has some money in it. We were putting, when the city repaid when the redevelopment agency repaid the city a loan, we put 20% of that into this fund. This will slowly evaporate, go away as we use it. There will be no new funds coming into it because that loan is repaid, and we don't set 20% aside anymore. So, but this has a few more years left for it. The housing mitigation fee, that is commercial development, an impact fee on commercial development to help develop affordable housing. And then kind of the Measure S programs. Just listed them here, just a reminder that that's part of your program for housing, but it is not part of this budget. That will be with the general fund. Again, a holdover from redevelopment. We're required to make some findings. Actually, not sure if we're still required to, but we do it as a belts and suspenders move. There was a provision in the law, and it actually still exists. They didn't expunge it. That in order to use redevelopment funds outside the project area, the local jurisdiction, in this case the Housing Authority and City Council, had to make findings that the use of those funds would increase, improve, and preserve the supply of affordable housing, and that they would be of benefit to the redevelopment project area. With the improvements that happen in the project areas, they generate more jobs. Those jobs will need places to live, and thus you can make the finding. It really is a bit archaic, but it is still in the health and safety code, and so we offer it for you tonight. This is, again, you've seen this in the larger department context, but this is the overall summary of a budget, $47.3 million. Again, the lion's share of that coming from the Section 8 program. In terms of revenues this year, not a lot to comment on. There are less in the Affordable Housing Trust Fund simply because we do not have any projects in the pipeline, as many as we did. The low income housing fund, that is a net of a decrease in the loan revenue, the payback. We're no longer booking that as revenue, and also an increase for Dorn Gardens. We have the opportunity when one of those units sell, we can buy it back. So we put some funds aside. Those two net out to about a $550,000 decrease. And then the housing impact fee, again, we overestimated last year. We don't have anything in the pipeline, and so you see a bit of a decrease there. In terms of our appropriations for the coming year, again, pretty straightforward. They track those revenues. You'll see the low mod has a bit of an increase there, and that is, again, due to some additional costs that we'll have this year due to the development and a little bit for that Dorn Gardens repayment or repurchase. Here's the revenues against expenditures. Again, no big surprise, they track pretty well. The low, moderate income housing, again, a bit of a decrease in revenue because we're no longer booking that loan, and increase in costs that we are putting towards the 3 development projects that we have. We've used Kane Balmer Berkman as a specialty outside legal counsel to augment the city attorney's office. Not that the city attorney's office couldn't do this, but this firm specializes in housing. If we were to take somebody from the city attorney and dedicate them, there's quite a bit of activity, especially now with the 3 projects. We would find a bit of a hole in the city attorney's office on the normal mainstream type things we need. So we use Kane Balmer Berkman. It also allows us the opportunity to have somebody that is working generally in the industry and sees what's happening in other cities and what other developers are doing. So we have contracted this specialty out. They're overseen by Mr. Garcia's staff and then used by the housing staff for the affordable housing projects. Emphasis Software is, you may remember this from years past where we've been using it. It really is the gold standard in the industry. We use it, we've looked at it and decided to use it. HUD uses this, and so it allows our systems to talk to one another. Also, Hockley uses it, the city of Los Angeles. They are our biggest supplier of ports, if you will. And so about half of those 2,600 are coming from that agency. So it allows our software to talk to each other. Annually, we update that contract. This amount, the $85,000, is the annual cost that we save for this year. And then these are your basic alternatives of things that you can do. We are recommending and asking you to adopt the motions and resolutions that are before you. You could choose not to, which would put a stop to our housing program till we figured out a process going forward. You could, Housing Authority, the city and the Housing Authority could do anything else that you chose. We do recommend, though, that you make that finding of using those dollars outside the redevelopment project area. It gives us full flexibility to use anywhere in the city. With that, that concludes my report, and staff and I are available for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from council or Housing Authority on these items?
None from me, thank you.
None? Anyone? Okay, then do we have a motion? For, well, we'll need a motion for 3A from council to approve.
I'll move 3A, the resolution for the findings.
Okay, do we have a
For
second?
council.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll
Roll
second
call,
it.
please.
Councilmember Agajanian,
Yes.
Brotman,
Yes,
Kasakian, Najarian,
Yes.
and Mayor Devine.
Yes. And then for housing?
and now we need, yes, we need a
I'll move
motion
3B,
for
C,
housing.
and D.
Second?
roll
Roll
call,
call.
please.
Authority Member Agajanian,
Robert?
Authority Member Agajanian, I think we got disconnected.
Oops, okay.
Agajanian,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes?
Najarian,
Yes.
Parazian, Chair Kasakian, and Vice Chair Brotman.
Yes,
Thank you.
and
Thank
just to
you.
clarify, we voted on all three, B, C, and D, is that correct?
Correct,
Correct.
correct.
Okay,
All
good.
right, and what's next, please?
Next will be adjournment.
Adjournment for council?
Mayor Devine? Mayor Devine?
Yes,
If I may, we didn't call for comments, and there were two things I wanted to bring up, actually, for housing.
okay, well.
We could
then
do that.
Before we do adjournment, yes, let's go ahead and hear your comments.
Yeah, let's, because, yeah, two things that I thought would be useful for, the audience that typically would come into one of these Housing Authority meetings, although I may repeat this tonight. But the first one is, I thought it would be helpful if staff could just talk briefly about the 140 units of rent-controlled affordable housing at Next on Lex and the Brio that we are going to be advertising for people to apply for. I saw the note, the application period is coming up, June 14th to July 6th. So it may be useful for staff just to mention this so that people start hearing about this fantastic opportunity that we have with our new projects for workforce housing.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, excuse me.
That's okay.
We could have staff do that next week. There would still be time. and then we'd be prepared with an announcement. I believe that there's something going out in social media, but we could make that announcement. I just don't have the website where those applications are going to be.
Okay, all right.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that would be good if we could do that next week. The other one was, I just wanted to mention that we all got an email from the Glendale Tenants Union asking for the city to commit what they call digital and personnel resources to help tenants with this online application process for the California COVID-19 rent relief program. It's a great program that will cover the back rents that are owed, but apparently it's been difficult for some people to navigate. And so I reached out to staff, specifically to Dr. Schaefer, and asked about the library playing a role. And I just wanted to read what he wrote back because I think it's important for people to hear this. What he wrote back was that the Central Library is open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday. They are ready to assist anyone who needs help with these websites. And they also have internet-enabled public computers available that people can check out to complete the paperwork. They also have hours that are open to the public and computers that are available at Montrose and Brand as well. In addition, and I think this is very helpful for people, is that the city is helping with applications in English, Armenian, and Spanish through community services and parks. The Glendale Youth Alliance Department received special grant funding to provide this report. Staff contacted Glendale Youth Alliance, and they will be emailing more information soon. When that's received, we will share this information on the housing resources page of the city website. In the meantime, people can contact the Glendale Youth Alliance for help now. So the good news is these resources are available, and it would be good if anybody is listening from the Tenants Union or from any other group, to get the word out, help us get the word out as much as possible so that people know that we are here to help and we do have resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lanza, did you have anything to add to that, or Mr. Zovac? Thank you for that information. Mr. Lansfein?
Nothing to add other than there is information that is out in the cyber world and social media, and we will have it on website.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, we're updating our website. It's soon to, I guess they say, drop. And will this update be included in that new website? Mr. Zovac?
Yes, Mayor Devine, members of council, yes, that update could be included when the website, a revised website goes up online. We've already done 2 major marketing pushes for the state rent relief program. We've done email blasts. We've worked with the PIO office in issuing out new social media blasts, reminding both tenants and landlords about this program. Because remember, tenants and landlords can both apply to this pot of money. But we also twice done an email blast to approximately 20,000 email accounts. And those are people that are on and have been on our affordable housing interest list. We can certainly, once this information becomes final, in terms of the library and GYA being able to assist with applications, we can do a 3rd email blast to that group of people as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it's important to say that the state of California, when they set up this rent relief program, they also set up agencies and are funding agencies throughout the state, and they did a call to agencies to sign up, and then they would be compensated for it. But they have agencies lined up to assist people who are having issues with applying online as well, and or language issues. So that's available at the state level, and it sounds like it'll be available at the local level
And
now.
how's that accessible? How's that information accessible?
State of California State Rent Relief Program.
State of California State Rent Relief Program.
Correct.
If they
And that'll
go,
take you to the rent relief process that they have and website.
okay, Thank you very much, thank you. Councilmember Najarian.
So, Madam Chair, I just, since there was a request that a report come back to council or to Housing Authority, I'm not sure which body, on the ACH housing, I would like to be, I would like to have that be a agenda item where we can discuss it at length, if necessary, and give direction to staff, rather than just have a report which would not permit us the flexibility of lengthy discussion and staff direction.
Is there-
someone
and
support
we'll need
that?
We'll need a second. We've got it.
I don't imagine it's any more work for staff, but it's something that would give council or the housing authority a little more leeway in terms of what we would like to discuss and possible action.
Sure, and you're referring to the workforce housing?
Yes,
Next week was just going to be an announcement, but we can agendize that, if
Great.
that's what you'd like to see.
I'd like to have that as perhaps a placeholder. This may take another turn in the days coming, but I'd like to have that availability if if this is the best forum to have that discussion.
Madam Mayor, members of City
Yes.
Council, Councilmember Najarian, if that's council, obviously direction, we can bring that report back on June 29th, because we're trying to publish the agenda for the 15th tonight, and we are dark on the 22nd, if that works for council.
I'd rather get into this sooner than later. The more time that goes by, I think we lose an opportunity for direction.
Well, can we still do the announcement on the
Definitely.
15th?
Definitely.
Or, 15th, and then bring back the report on the 29th? Because really, at this point, I don't know that there's much we can do except discuss. We have
I
a
mean,
lot-
this information came to council in a memo. I'm not sure that was a confidential memo. As far as I'm concerned, that would suffice as a report to be placed on the agenda. I'm not sure how the timing is for next week, but I don't want to put this out 3 weeks. I have a lot to say about it, and I want to make sure it's set in the appropriate forum with the appropriate Brown Act notice.
Councilmember Najarian, Madam Mayor, as you know, it was council's direction to publish our agendas 1 week in advance of the meeting. So I'm looking at staff, we can put something together tonight, and we won't be able to publish it until tomorrow night.
And if I may, there are other requests related to that council members have asked for that, so perhaps Mr. Galani and I can huddle about ways to get that information to you, so that you can have a discussion about it as soon as possible in an appropriate forum.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I will defer to that
City attorney?
discussion between the manager and the city attorney.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see, so where are we?
Move to adjourn.
For
For council.
council?
Is there a
Did we
second?
have a motion for
Motion
adjournment?
to adjourn for council?
Mr. Brotman, and a second? Oh, that was a second. So okay, with that,
And
council's
authority?
adjourned
And
at
authority?
1:34.
And a motion to adjourn for housing, please?
Move to adjourn for housing?
Second,
And housing is adjourned
at 1:34.
at
Thank you all.
1:34.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll call to order the Glendale City Council meeting scheduled for June 8th, being called to order at 1:35. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Agajanian?
Present.
Brotman?
Here.
Kasakian? Najarian?
Here.
And Mayor Devine.
Here. And what's next, please?
One would be closed session, 1A, conference with labor negotiators. The city designated negotiators attending the closed session are Rubik Galanian, Michael J. Garcia, Jalen Van Meiden, Matt Doyle, John Taktalian, Silvio Lanzas, and Michelle Flynn. The names of the employees' organizations are Glendale City Employee Association, Glendale Management Association, and Glendale Firefighters Association. B, conference with real property negotiators, property location 216 North Brand Boulevard and 116 West California Avenue. Negotiating parties, Glendale Arts Agency. Negotiators attending closed session are Rubik Galanian, Michael J. Garcia, Jalen Van Meiden, Philip Lanzafine, Michelle Flynn, Bradley Calvert, and Tamar Saad. Instructions to negotiators will concern the price and terms for the lease of property. C would be public employment attorneys. And D would be conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Eastman versus City of Glendale et al., LASC, case number 18STCV 05548.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, do you expect to report out on any of these items?
We do not anticipate reporting out, Madam Mayor.
Okay, then we will recess to closed session. Thank you.